Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am back after a week's hiatus to give you my picks for Week 9's action for today, tonight, and tomorrow. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get it started. Denver at Cincinnati. I like Denver in this one. Peyton Manning has got that team humming. That offense is clicking. Defense is starting to gel and step up to match what Peyton Manning's doing with that offense. And Cincinnati, as we all know, they are great at beating bad teams, and they suck at beating good teams. And that tradition continues. I like Denver. Next up, Baltimore at Cleveland. Baltimore coming off their bye after basically getting worked by Houston. They're playing at Cleveland, facing the Browns team that basically kept the San Diego Chargers out of the end zone. Yet the Chargers found their way into the end zone multiple times against the Chiefs. Go figure that. But the Baltimore Ravens have won 10 straight against the Cleveland Browns, which is the longest win streak versus any team in the NFL. Basically, one team having a streak over another team in the NFL. Baltimore with 10 wins, that is. And basically, they know that their backs are against the wall, and they know they need to right the ship. And I see them doing that against Cleveland. So I'm picking Baltimore in this one. Next up, it's going to be a really good game here. The Miami Dolphins travel to Indianapolis to take on Andrew Luck, and the Colts. Both teams are 4-3. Both teams are exceeding expectations. Both teams are getting it done with rookie QBs. Miami with Ryan Tannehill, and Indianapolis with the #1 pick and Andrew Luck. This is a tough one. This is a coin flip for me, but I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. The Colts play a lot better at home. Andrew Luck has more of a groove when he's playing in front of a home crowd. And Miami, they're very plucky. Their defense is great. Tannehill has really stepped up big time to lead that team to where they're at now. It's gonna be a close one, but I see Indianapolis with the edge. So I have the Colts in this one. Next up, the Detroit Lions at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like Detroit in this one. Jacksonville, though they did fight hard against the Green Bay Packers, I just don't see them winning this game. Matthew Stafford finally woke up. Those receivers finally stepped up to really help out Megatron, who's definitely having a Madden curse type season, if you will. But Titus Young definitely stepped up while he's still trying to get into his groove. But I like the Lions. I just think, more firepower to them, more firepower from that team than what Jacksonville can offer. So I like Detroit. Next up, Arizona traveling to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. And if you watched the Arizona Cardinals against the 49ers last Monday, heck, if you watched them the last 4 games, including that 49ers game, you know that this team has got some serious issues offensively. They have no run game, no offensive line, and no QB. So, and they're traveling to Green Bay, and they're taking on the Packers team who has finally awakened from their slumber earlier this season and are playing some of their best ball yet. And Aaron Rodgers is pretty much taking it out on anybody that he sees. So, Arizona's his next victim. I like the Packers at home. Next up, we have the battle of the rookie phenom QBs. The rookie phenom QB from 2011, Cam Newton, and the Carolina Panthers travel to Washington to take on Robert Griffin III, QB phenom 2012, and the Washington Redskins. This one's going to be really interesting. I mean, obviously you have Cam Newton, who lit it up last season, versus Robert Griffin III, who's lighting it up this season. I like Carolina in this. They played tough against Chicago last week, and if not for a pick 6, may have been a different story. But Redskins, I like RG3. I like Alfred Morris. I like what that team is doing, but those receivers are definitely letting RG3 down big time. And last week it was no exception. Was it 10 drops against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Yes, they're at home, but I like Carolina to step it up. I think RG3 versus Cam is a storyline in its own right, and I think Cam wants to show and prove that he is the QB of the future and not RG3. And you know Cam loves the spotlight, and this is a big spotlight game for him. So I expect him to step it up and Carolina to get the win. Next up on the schedule, we have the Buffalo Bills traveling to Houston to take on the Houston Texans. It's a homecoming for Mario Williams, the former number 1 overall pick, or the former number 1 overall pick in the 2006 draft by the Houston Texans, who is now donning the jersey of the Buffalo Bills. He's heading back to his old stomping grounds to take on the best team in the AFC by far right now in the Houston Texans. Houston's at home, and Buffalo's defense is terrible. Houston has a really good offense, and they have a really good defense. You know where I'm going with this. Houston Texans. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears traveling to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go bold here, and I'm going to call an upset. I think the Tennessee Titans eke out a win against the Chicago Bears in this one. Matt Hasselbeck has got that team playing some really good ball right now. Chris Johnson is finally looking like the running back that he was pre-2011. And that defense is stepping up. Chicago, I like that team. I mean, I love the defense. I love the way they're playing. I love how opportunistic they are. But, I smell an upset in this one. So it's a bold pick for me. And basically, you can take this suggestion or take this pick and run with it, or just look at me funny and say, why would you even think that Tennessee has a chance? But this is my bold pick for the week. I picked Tennessee over Chicago. So, who else we got here? Yes. We have the rematch of Super Bowl 37, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Oakland to take on the Oakland Raiders. Now, there's no John Gruden in this one, and there's no Warren Sapp, there's no Dexter Jackson, there's no Rich Gannon, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown. You know where I'm going with this. I like Oakland at home. For one, Tampa Bay is having to travel all the way from the east to the west to take on the Raiders. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their West Coast trips recently haven't favored them in the least. So I like Oakland at home in this one. Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings coming off that ugly loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I just mentioned, traveling to Seattle to take on the Seattle Seahawks, who are coming off a loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, no, actually, they're coming off a loss to the Detroit Lions, at the last minute. So they're looking to get back into the winning ways, and they're looking to keep pace with the 49ers in the NFC West. Unfortunately for the Vikings, they're playing at Seattle, and I don't know how many times I got to stress this. Seattle is not an easy place to play, and I think Seattle, because they're at home and just how well they play at home, I have them winning this game. And Christian Ponder, he's regressed. He's throwing picks like rice at a wedding at this point. Adrian Peterson, he's carrying that team as much as he can, but there's only so much he can do, and Percy Harvin as well. But that defense is starting to let them down. I mean, they're getting gashed by the likes of Larod Stevens-Howling, and they let rookie Doug Martin run wild on them. So you obviously know beast mode is licking his chops. But this is going to be a fun matchup if you're a fan of old school running backs, old school style of running, where you have Adrian Peterson, who runs ferocious and physical and violent. And then you have Marshawn Lynch, who runs ferocious and physical and violent. So, it should be a fun matchup between those two running backs. But beast mode's at home. I don't like picking against Seattle at home, although I might do it later on this season. But Seattle gets the win here. Next up, we have the two dominant teams of the NFL in the last decade, with the two quarterbacks who have won 4 Super Bowls in their first 8 seasons combined. The Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Ben Roethlisberger, versus the New York Giants, the defending Super Bowl champions, with Eli Manning, both QBs coming out of the QB draft class of 2004. Pittsburgh is traveling to New York, and because of the events of Hurricane Sandy, they're having to fly in that day, which is today. So they didn't have a chance to set up shop in New Jersey, New York, New Jersey, in that area to get settled in. So they're actually flying in. This is a day flight for them. But also, they're playing on the road against the New York Giants, who are finding ways to win, and I like the Giants in this one. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a physical. It's going to be a tough game. But I like Eli to pull this one out for the Giants in this one. So, next up, Sunday night matchup. We have the Dallas Cowboys, who, like I said, are the most creative team in finding new and exciting ways to lose. If you watch the Giants game, traveling to Atlanta to take on Matt Ryan and the only undefeated team in the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go with Dallas on this one, and I'm going to tell you why. They have a knack for knocking off undefeated teams. They have this uncanny ability to knock off undefeated teams. They did this to the New Orleans Saints in 2009 when they were undefeated and knocked their undefeated streak off. They also did this to the Colts a few seasons ago when they were undefeated and broke their undefeated streak. Now they're facing the Atlanta Falcons, who are undefeated. So here's another bold pick, folks. I think they go to Atlanta, and I think they actually stop Atlanta's undefeated streak. I think what's crazy about the Dallas Cowboys is that, like I said, they're a bipolar team. There are stretches where they're brilliant, offensively, defensively, etc. And then there are stretches where they're just incompetent. I think their brilliance shows up tonight. So, I have the Dallas Cowboys in a bold upset. And the final game of Week 9, Monday night matchup, this is the Desperation Bowl 2.0. And surprisingly, New Orleans is back in this one, as the Philadelphia Eagles travel to the Big Easy to take on Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Philly's coming off their ass whooping at the hands of the Atlanta Falcons. New Orleans coming off of another ass whooping at the hands of the Denver Broncos. So both of these teams are playing with some serious desperation. However, the Philadelphia Eagles are the most desperate team at this point, because the Saints, after going 0-4, you kind of can see that this season is not going to be theirs. But Philly came in with redemption on their mind after being ridiculed about the Dream Team moniker. Yet they have looked sloppy. They're 3-4, and Andy Reid, Michael Vick, they're all on the hot seat right now, and they know this is the most critical game of their season if they want to turn it around, because Jeff Lurie told Andy Reid that this season was playoffs or bust, and Andy Reid knows he needs this game to stay as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles come into New Orleans and come away with a victory in this one. So I'm picking the Eagles on the road against New Orleans. I think the Saints, their defense is just, they have a matador defense. They don't have a defense. They have defensive players on that side of the ball, but they don't have a defense at all. And, you know, Drew Brees with that Saints offense, it's not the same. And they're going to be without Darren Sproles. So they lost their gadget man. And, yeah, I think Philly comes out with the victory in this game. So those are my picks for Week 9. I hope everybody enjoys today. And I'll be back, like I said, as usual, next week with my What Have We Learned for Week 9 and my quick picks for the Thursday night game, etc., etc. So until then, enjoy today's action. Hope your team gives you a good day and not cause you to drink like my Niners did against the Giants. Yeah, we're not going to get into that. It's a while back, but I'm just saying, just giving you an example here. So hope you all enjoy your day today. Adrian Mason, out.